Brandon Walker. Was it
Braden Walker.
Braden Walker. Oh my god, I can't believe you remembered that.
What was his promo? It's like, what time is it? No, knock. Who's there? Braden Walker. And he just walked away.
That's so much funnier if it was, what time is it? What time is it? Braden Walker. I was like, what?
It's not even a time.
Yeah.
What time is it? 9:15. AKA Braden Walker time.
He just tells people the time.
It's his gimmick.
And now, it's time for Making Kayfabe with your hosts, Bryce and Dylan.
Welcome to episode 5 of Making Kayfabe, the podcast where my friend Dylan and I rewrite wrestling history to make it, in our opinions, a lot better. My name is Bryce, and we're well into this podcast now. 5 episodes, Dylan. Did you think we'd ever get this far?
Yes.
Perfect. How are you tonight?
I'm really good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I appreciate your optimism.
Oh, you know me. I'm always optimistic.
Always optimistic. I think we can make it to 6 episodes. What do you think?
I think we're going to make it to 106 episodes.
106?
Yeah. But after that, that's just overkill. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. That's 2 years from now, so we've got plenty of time.
We got plenty of time.
Fuck it. I've got a doozy for you today.
Ooh.
Tell me, what are your thoughts on Ethan Carter III, also known as EC3?
I'll tell you exactly what my thoughts are, Bryce. My thoughts are, I haven't seen that guy on TV in like 6 months.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's exactly what this is about.
What?
Huh? So I've got a story about EC3. I've got something we can maybe do to make him not a waste of money, basically, as he's kind of on main event at the moment, jobbing to Nobe Jose. Shall we? I've got a bit of background on him. Shall I get us caught up in EC3's background to kind of set the scene?
Yes, I'm very interested. I don't imagine the background in his recent WWE years is going to take too long, but I know he's done a lot of stuff before that, so I'm very interested to see what his life has been like leading up to this point.
Yeah, so I've got a bit about his time before WWE as well, because obviously he was in TNA and all the rest. But EC3, so Michael Hunter Hutter, that's his real name, by the way, started his pro career in 2002, where he wrestled for various promotions in the Cleveland area. Between then and 2007, he built his repertoire and made sporadic cameo appearances for WWE, including a loss to Rodney Mack on Heat in 2003 and a loss in a tag team match on the July 24th, 2006 edition of Sunday Night Heat to Charlie Haas, and guess who?
Could it be our old pal Viscera?
Motherfucking Viscera.
I mean, that was a classic match, man. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
That was a great match. I can't even remember who he was tagging with, but
it didn't matter. Like the wrestling in that was off the charts.
When you're blessed with the presence of Viscera as your opponent, that's...
The high spots, and they didn't need to bring that ladder in there, but they did it anyway.
It didn't need to be in Hell in a Cell on Sunday Night Heat, but because it's such a huge match, it had to be.
Iron Man match for 1 hour, the entire length of Heat. Oh, you're spoiling us, but they did it.
Anyway, guys, go and check out that match. It's a really good match.
It's so good.
It's so good. In 2007, he joined WWE Developmental Territory, OVW, and then was moved to overtaking... basically, OVW became FCW in 2009. So it didn't become that, but WWE moved from OVW to Florida Championship Wrestling in 2009. So, yeah, he changed his name to Derek Bateman. And had Abraham Washington as his manager. Do you remember him?
I don't.
Abraham Washington was... I'm actually struggling myself. He was a manager of primetime players, I think.
And so he was big time.
Yeah, he was on screen for like a month, and then I remember he done this whole thing when they were wrestling. He had a microphone in his hand and he was just shouting out things, and I think he shouted out something like really controversial. I think it's like a American football player kind of done some bad shit basically, and he made fun of that, and yeah, he was never heard from again. So
about
Yeah, but so in 2010, it was announced that he would be part of season 4 of NXT, back when it was the game show and not the actual wrestling promotion or subsidiary. Daniel Bryan was his mentor as well. He made it to the final 3, but the competition was eventually won by Johnny Curtis, aka Fandango. Bateman returned for NXT Redemption Season 5, where he was technically never eliminated despite the season running for over a year. 67 episodes. It basically became a TV show at that point, but yeah, it didn't do him very good because he got released from his WWE contract on May 17th, 2013. So yeah, he didn't have much of an impact in WWE when he first was first there, but hey, deja vu. So later that year, he'd signed for TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, debuting in October as Dixie Carter's spoiled nephew, Ethan Carter III, EC3. He played a snobby, rich boy, a rare heel who was actually able to generate real hatred from the crowd because, you know, had this whole holier than thou, arrogant attitude. His whole gimmick was he's the top 1%, so, you know, he's very rich and he's very powerful and all of this shit. Great heel. In 2015, he won his first world championship with the company, defeating Kurt Angle on the June 25th, 2015, in a reign which lasted 101 days. He'd won the title again by defeating Matt Hardy on January 5th, 2016, but the reign itself lasted 3 days before he lost it right back to Matt Hardy. What was the point?
We've all been there.
We've all been. Oh, TNA. He'd kick about in TNA until January 13th, 2018, where he was released from his contract after picking up the pink slip in a Feast or Fired match. A couple of weeks later, he'd appear at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia and sitting in the crowd as the latest hot free agent in sports entertainment. And interestingly, he got to keep his TNA name, EC3, rather than going by his previous WWE name, Derek Bateman. EC3 is a better name.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think it's funny that EC3 would probably have been better off? Like, he would have got more TV time if he just sat in the front row of NXT.
Just every episode.
Yeah, like
he's just there.
Here he is again. He's waving to the audience. Like, he would have way more exposure than he does right now.
Yeah, he's still the hottest free agent.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you can always have that. Obviously, zoom in on him for kind of 30 minutes. But hey, he spent less than a year in NXT, doing not really much of note, other than appearing in that awesome 6-man ladder match at TakeOver New Orleans. Do you remember that match?
I do. I
Awesome
really do. That was a lot of fun.
So good. It was him. It was Velveteen Dream. It was Adam Cole, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, and Ricochet. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Meltzer gave it 5 stars. It was awesome. Like, really good match.
Mm-hmm.
On the December 17, 2018 edition of Raw, Vignettes started to appear on the show and SmackDown, announcing his impending arrival. After appearing backstage for a month or so, basically doing fuck all, he made his official debut as a babyface on Alexa Bliss's talk show A Moment of Bliss, followed by a match against Dean Ambrose, which EC3 won in the space of 2 minutes. Later that week, WWE made the announcement that Ambrose would be leaving the company, as he had turned down all contracts offered to him and made it clear he would not be re-signing with the company. Anyway, on the next episode of Raw, EC3 and Ambrose wrestle again, and the fans start to venomously boo EC3, the babyface, whereas the heel Ambrose was as over as ever due to the news getting out that he was leaving the company. Ambrose won the match in 3:55, and the Michigan crowd couldn't care less about, poor EC3 that he beat. So EC3 was basically put in an impossible situation. You know, when the fans find out Ambrose is leaving the company, that's obviously a massive babyface thing, because people are thinking, oh, what if he goes to AEW, which, you know, he eventually did. What if he does New Japan? What if he does go back to CCW and all this stuff? So yeah, EC3 was never going to get cheered in that match.
Yeah, that was a real unfortunate situation to be in.
Yeah,
you know, because like the idea of him like beating Ambrose that night should be like big news, because like Ambrose is, you know, a main eventer in that company, even though he was leaving and you know doing the duty on the way out. Like, storyline wise, you would think that him working with EC3 would be like major for EC3.
Yeah.
You know, you think it would be like a good start, like it's only going to get better. And you would also think that the people in the company like should have expected something like that, because Ambrose is very over and it was very popular. So for him to leave, obviously the fans would be bummed about that. Surely they should have known that whoever they put in the ring against him that night or over the couple of weeks before he left, you would think that like they would know that person is they're just not gonna do well against Ambrose because he's leaving. Like they should have known that, and they should have been smart about it. Because it feels like after that they were like, why are they booing EC3? He's a face, you know, like they just forgot about him and cut the wings off him because of the weird reception. But like they should have expected that anyway.
Especially making EC3 lose in the space of 4 minutes. You know, you're not going to make a star out of someone if they get beat in 4 minutes, you know, by someone who's leaving the company. I think the whole thing was as well that because Ambrose lost to EC3 the previous week, the fans were probably thinking that he's been made a martyr, basically, you know, because he's leaving WWE, so he's going to do all these awful things, he's going to lose all these matches, and then he's going to leave. But anyway, that's basically where it went south for EC3. Not that it was ever not south from the beginning, but in the May 29th edition of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said of the situation that the company were taking it out in EC3, and when you see what happens next, you got to believe him. EC3 barely did anything since. John Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose himself, even spoke about this on his Reveal All podcast on Talk Is Jericho, where he spoke about his time in WWE, and you know there was a section of that podcast that was actually dedicated to that whole EC3 situation, where Ambrose heard that, you know, Vince was taking it out in EC3 because he didn't get cheered against the leaving Ambrose. So let's forget the fact that the EC3 character is literally a naturally detestable heel. Let's forget the fact that they brought up a character from NXT whose main strength is talking and made him essentially a mute. You're going to punish a guy for not getting cheered against one of the most over guys in the company, who the local fans are probably seeing in the ring for the last time. It's bonkers. It's so WWE though, isn't it?
Right, like it's ridiculous. It's a scenario they created and then punished the guy for.
Yeah.
Like that's just bizarre, you know?
It's just how they do things, annoyingly. But 2 weeks later, EC3 is demoted to main event. Main event, ironically named because it features names like Heath Slater and No Way Jose. It's a show that's very much deemed as an afterthought on WWE programming. Serves to catch the viewers up with the happenings on Raw and SmackDown, and features matches with wrestlers not regularly featured on WWE TV, so the undercard basically. So how about this? So on February 11th, EC3 lost to Ambrose in Monday Night Raw, so the aforementioned 4-minute loss where shit went south for him. On February 25th, he loses to Apollo Crews on main event. On the 11th of March, EC3 loses to Tyler Breeze on main event. Over the next few months, EC3 will be losing to No Way Jose on the house show circuit, as well as Titus O'Neil on main event, Cedric Alexander, and Lucha at a House Party. He got buried.
Yeah, you know, you can paint it whatever way you want, but like, you know, it doesn't lie. Clearly, they did bury him. Like,
yeah,
that's exactly what that is. Because sometimes whenever somebody loses like a couple of matches, they're like, oh, they're burying him. Like they don't know how to use that term correctly.
Yeah.
But like when you look at it like that, when you look at like what he has done since he came up to the main roster. That is like the pretty much textbook definition of a burial, where they just give up on him and then just fed him losses to people who you would think he should win against, and just stop using them on TV. Like that's textbook, you know.
Yeah, in regards to he got buried, he very much was and is as at the time of this recording. Actually, he's still not done anything. But before the Moxley podcast with Jericho came out on the April 15, 2009 Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer's kind of having a few words about EC3's career and how things are going for him, and he's saying, my God, I've not seen anyone getting buried so hard in years. I'm presuming that he has said or done something that's upset somebody. He has the look, he has the talking ability, his wrestling isn't the best, but he makes up for it in character work. It's really sad.
Right, like that guy could talk.
Yeah, he really can. He's got a great character, and like, Mills says his wrestling isn't the best, but I mean, it's not bad by any means. He can carry a match, and he's got personality. He's got a great look. I mean, the guy's fucking ripped. He's in great shape. He just looks like a star. But
Right.
everyone felt sorry for him. I was doing some research on this as well at the time, looking back on old Reddit posts, and one of the top comments that I enjoyed on Reddit was from Big Bad Bull 2000. Username. He says, "You know it's a Vince McMahon issue when a muscular talker is constantly buried," which pretty much sums things up, because like, how often are you going to get someone who looks like EC3 and can actually talk?
Right, exactly. Like, I don't see why they would kind of throw that away. You know,
Yeah.
like, but you're right. He can talk really well, and like his wrestling ability is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's what you want from a wrestler, because he'd be like a perfect like mid carder or like upper mid carder kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, you could depend on that guy for years if you fucking used him, because of how good, like how over he is, or how over he can get himself if you just give him a mic.
Yeah.
Because he can do that. He can be a real despicable heel, and he can totally do that. You know.
That's it. Like, in regards to his wrestling ability, he can wrestle a WWE match easy.
Yeah.
You know, your standard Raw SmackDown 8-minute exhibition match, like no worries at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's on the April 9th, on April 9th, in a dark match before an episode of SmackDown, EC3 came to the ring with Drake Maverick, reuniting the pair since they were consistently on screen together in TNA when Maverick was Rockstar Spud. It was a chance for EC3 to pump some adrenaline into his character, but nope. It was apparently turned down by Vince McMahon, and the two never got to bring their act to TV.
Oh.
On May 20th, 2019, the 24/7 Championship comes into play, and guess who is one of the jobbers chasing down the title in the backstage area?
Drake Maverick.
Drake, yes.
Oh, No Way Jose.
Yes.
Yeah, Heath Slater.
Yeah.
All of these are people that EC3 has lost to, right?
But also EC3 is chasing the 24/7 title. He's one of the guys that's running about the backstage area and chasing R-Truth around. You know, he's basically an afterthought. June 11th, EC3 posts a photo of himself on Instagram with the caption, "Our mistrust of the future makes it hard to give up on the past."
I don't know what that means.
It's just him being depressed about not being used right, to be honest. June 21st, 2019, John Cena sends out a tweet, "Never stop dreaming. Chasing those dreams requires an incredible amount of work. Never give up." And EC3 replies, "Dreams become nightmares."
EC3 replies, "Go fuck yourself, John."
Fuck off, John.
Easy for you to say when you've had like 15 years on top and having £6 billion in the bank.
You're bloody 16 world championships and you're
main evented so many WrestleManias. Gets to be on TV. Go fuck off, you know.
Has never been a main event. Has never lost to No Way Jose.
Never went for the 24/7. Hey, give it time, man. I guarantee you, 5 years. Within 5 years, John Cena is gonna be a 24/7 champion.
I'll take that bet.
Right, guys. This podcast is to remember this. All right. I mean,
Right.
fucking Keane won it. If Keane won it,
You're wrong. Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County, won it.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Kane didn't win it.
he looked a bit like him.
He did. He looks very similar, but different
Yeah.
guy.
That's why I got mistaken, I guess. But
Yeah, see, easy mistake to make. June 24th, 2019, EC3 becomes 24/7 champion by pinning Cedric Alexander after attacking him on the outside of the ring, hitting him with his finisher, which is kind of a headlock driver kind of thing called the 1%er. He celebrates the victory like crazy. You've never seen someone so happy to win a championship. As he heads back up the entrance ramp, holding the title above his head, Carmella snatches the title from his hand. EC3 turns around and then from behind, R-Truth rolls him up and pins him. EC3 loses the title immediately. He wasn't even champion for 30 seconds.
well, I gotta say, dude, that's, you know, we've been singing his praises, but that's a rookie mistake right there. Don't turn your back like that. That is
It's his own fault, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, idiot. So, yeah. And as we sit recording this podcast in the end of September, he's done nothing since. His last televised match at the time of recording was a losing effort in main event against Lucha House Party, where he teamed with Eric Young for some reason. And there's a future episode of Making Kayfabe right there. What the fuck did WWE do with Eric Young? But to sum up, he's basically enhancement talent, a jobber, a geek, WWE are doing nothing with him, and I genuinely believe that EC3 could have been a main event star. Not a star of main events, but headlining fucking pay-per-views. He genuinely is that kind of a character, I believe. So how do we get him there? That is the question. And I have the answer. You want to hear what I've got?
Yeah, are you going to tell us the answer, or do I have to guess?
Tune in next week for Making Kayfabe episode 6. All right. Have a drink of water here.
That would be good if we did that. Just some of them we just stop. But like,
a big old cliffhanger. Yeah. All right, so this is what I've come up with. So this is how I think we can make EC3 a star in less than 2 months. So here's what I've got. WWE, feel free to use this. You've got my permission to use this. We start on the July 1st, 2019. So it's 1 week after the 24/7 fiasco where EC3 won the 24/7 belt, and absolutely thrilled, and then lost it immediately to R-Truth. So it's Monday Night Raw. Things are progressing as normal, as expected, until, let's say, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Renee Young are speaking to the camera, connecting segments together. But in the background, we see somebody walking down the ramp and rolling into the ring. It's EC3, Sans, entrance music, Sans, ring announcer introducing him. Just him wearing normal street clothes. He extends a hand to the ring announcer and takes a microphone from him. So he gets in the microphone, live mic, and he's saying, I'm going to take a moment of your time because I know it ain't going to do any good asking for it. So an immediate reference that this is not the norm. So fans will know about EC3's situation, of course. They'll know that he's been buried, which makes him, walking out unscheduled all the more interesting. All eyes point to EC3 as he cuts a scathing promo about the opportunities he's been given recently, or the lack of. So yeah, he's basically having a big rant about, how he's been misused and how he could have been a superstar and all of these things. He can say something along the lines of, there's not a guy like me who Vince hasn't given 100 opportunities to in the past. Guys with good bodies. Take David Otunga, for example. He couldn't wrestle to save his life. He couldn't talk to save his life. And despite all the opportunities you gave him, where did he end up? Exactly where he started, riding the coattails of his famous wife. There's more though. Remember Ezekiel Jackson? What about one of the most famous of all, Billy Gunn? He had a great body, but he sucked and didn't have an ounce of the personality I have. So what's wrong with me? What's wrong with EC3? It can't be my look. It can't be my promos. It can't be my ability. Help, you signed me here in the first damn place, and now I'm stuck for another year and a half at very least because my dumbass signed a 3-year deal. So if it's not those things, I guess it has to be my name. Ethan Carter III. That's right, my aunt is Dixie Carter, a woman who not even 10 years ago dared to try and put Vince McMahon out of business. And no matter whether she succeeded or whether she failed, when she got her own show on Spike TV in direct competition with you, Vince, the damage was done. You hate competition. You hated WCW. And now you're going to hate anyone who tries to compete again. And so by association, you're going to hate anyone who made a name for themselves working for Dixie Carter's company, Total Nonstop Action. That's why you hate me. That's what you have against me. And I'm sick of pretending that isn't the case. Let's do a case study. Let's talk about some of the TNA talent who came over from TNA to WWE who just weren't given a chance. Who have we got? Austin Aries. Yeah, you gave him one chance to wrestle on the big stage and it was on the pre-show. Mike Bennett, or Kanellis as you're calling him now, nothing. Call back to last week. Eric Young, former TNA World Champion, but after NXT, nothing. My best friend, Rockstar Spuds, or Drake Maverick as you call him, he's chasing around the 24/7 title when he deserves a hell of a lot more. We were going to be a team until you turned it down. And the less said about Chris Harris, the better. God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? What was I can't remember his name now. What's a...
what was
he was
his
in
name?
ECW and he cut the shittest fucking promo.
It was like Brandon Walker. Was it
Braden Walker.
Braden Walker. Oh my god, I can't believe you remembered that.
What was his promo? It's like, what time is it? No, knock, who's there? Braden Walker. And he's walked away.
That's so much funnier if it was, what time is it? What time is it? Braden Walker. I was like, what?
It's not even a time.
Yeah.
What time is it? 9:15. AKA Braden Walker time.
He just tells people the time.
It's his gimmick. He's really good at reading an analog watch.
Yeah. It's like, do you know what time it is? Like, yes, I do. 8:15. Thank you.
Have you got
No
the time,
problem.
buddy? Have you got the time, buddy? You're goddamn right I do. I'm Braden Walker, and it's 3:30.
Let's do him next.
Oh yes, let's not. Maybe episode. Tell you what, if John Cena wins the 24/7 title in the next 5 years, I will do a Braden Walker episode.
I'll have already done 2 by then.
Yeah, we're going to be on like episode 300 by then, probably.
I got a lot of ideas for that guy.
Yeah, we'll be on like our 4th or 5th round of EC3 probably. So EC3 is continuing his promo. He says, "God damn it, Sting came to WWE after 12 years in TNA, and you had him face your son-in-law at WrestleMania." Then EC3's mic gets cut. He shrugs his shoulders, and then the camera cuts to the top of the stage. Bobby Roode appears on the stage. He points to EC3 and nods. The camera cuts and we go to commercial. 8th of July, Monday Night Raw. It's announced by Michael Cole at the start of the show that EC3 is fired and will not be appearing on WWE TV ever again. Later in the show, we see Bobby Roode taking on Baron Corbin, who is currently the #1 contender to the WWE title. At the time, Corbin was involved with Lacey Evans. They had a tag team match against Rollins and Becky Lynch next week at Extreme Rules for the WWE and Women's Championships being on the line, which is terribly Vince Russo. So yeah, Lacey Evans is at ringside. So being a big old heel, Corbin has Lacey distract Roode, causing Roode to get caught in the end of days. 1, 2, 3. Corbin beats Roode. Roode looks dejected after the match. Extreme Rules, July 14th, 2019. So on this show, we've got AJ Styles versus Ricochet for the US title. So this is a perfect opportunity to make this mean something. So let's let them have their match. Give them 15 minutes or whatever. They'll have a barn burner. As it happens, Meltzer actually gave this match 3.75 stars in real life, which is pretty damn high for a WWE match. However, it ain't going to get to 3.75 this time because the fired EC3 is going to make an appearance. He's going to come down to the ring and he's going to be accompanied by Bobby Roode. They're going to throw Ricochet out of the ring and they're going to beat that shit out of AJ Styles. Boom, that's them picked their enemy. Questions already been asked. Why AJ Styles? What happens to EC3 now that he's broken the terms of his firing? Why is Bobby Roode aligning himself with EC3? Genuine cliffhangers after a WWE pay-per-view. Madness, right?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued now with the whole Bobby Roode thing.
Oh, yeah.
You've got me interested.
Good. Because more than WWE have done, I can tell you that much.
Pretty much.
So, Raw, 15th of July 2019. EC3 comes out, and strangely, there's no security rushing to the ring to stop him. So you'd think that if he was literally fired, they wouldn't be letting him come out. Let alone with entrance music, which he also has, by the way. He's also accompanied by Bobby Roode, of course, and he also has a microphone in his hand. So, opens the show and it's like, what the hell's going on? Why is EC3 here? He's been fired. EC3 reveals that within the terms of his contract, he cannot be fired because he is a top 1%er. He hired the best lawyers and agents to negotiate and look over his contract. Effectively, what he has is an ironclad agreement where he is guaranteed to be employed for the entire 3 years of his contract. He says, "In fact, I had every right to sue WWE for every penny they're worth, but instead we came to a little agreement, and that is that I am treated seriously as a professional wrestler. I'm going to get more airtime. I'm going to get more merchandise made for me. My mic won't get cut, that's for damn sure. You're going to be seeing this face a lot more often." Boom, heel heat. He was going to be fired, but because he is stinking rich, he bound himself into an epic deal with WWE, meaning that he can't be fired. He was going to take WWE to court, but now he is essentially blackmailing them. He's got them by the balls. He's forcing them to put him on TV. Isn't he a clever cookie? So he explains that Bobby Roode is on his side because he is in a very similar situation. Talented but overlooked by WWE management. Roode believes in strength in numbers, and when he saw EC3 getting attention, he decided it's the perfect time to get on board with that statement. Ricochet comes out, he confronts him, annoyed that they ruined his match against AJ Styles the previous night. EC3 and Roode warn him that the same thing is going to happen to them. It's going to happen to him very soon. He'll eventually become overlooked. The new toy treatment will fade soon, and he'll end up in main event just like all the other bums. EC3 versus Ricochet is booked for the main event of Raw. Before the match, AJ Styles comes out to cut a promo about being beat down, at Extreme Rules, but he's attacked by EC3 and Roode again. He barely gets a chance to get a word in before Carter and Roode decimate him, giving a proper savage beatdown, one that he will not be recovering from tonight anyway. In the main event, EC3 defeats Ricochet. He gets a legitimate win under his belt. No fancy business, no heelishness, no cheapness. He defeats Ricochet in a clean fight. Give the guy some prestige, because Lord knows he needs it after losing to No Way fucking Jose. July 22nd Raw. AJ Styles opens the show with his friends Gallows and Anderson by his side, bodyguards to protect him from EC3 and Roode's consistent attacks. AJ cuts a scathing promo on EC3. He's saying, they didn't demote you because you're a TNA guy. Look at me. They demoted you because behind that chiseled physique is nothing but blandness and low self-esteem. And now look at you. You're aligning yourself with somebody who is essentially a carbon copy of yourself, stuck in the same situation. What the hell do you plan to accomplish by attacking me? Are you trying to make a name for yourself off my back when I scratched and clawed harder than both of you put together ever have? I didn't have the height, I didn't have the physique. I've got a southern eastern accent working against me, but hey, look at me getting all the opportunities because I worked hard, not because I sat and bitched and got my freaking lawyers involved. And then, 3 men under hoods attack Styles, Gallows and Anderson. So again, they're beaten down, taken by surprise. Steel chairs are involved, maybe someone goes through the announcer's table, a proper beating, stairs, whatever. The fact is that Styles, Gallows and Anderson have the shit beaten out of them by 3 masked men. So once the beatdown is over, they each unmask one by one. So yes, one of them is Bobby Roode, as expected. But then the second one takes off his mask, as the commentators, they start to speculate how obvious that it's going to be EC3 beneath the hood, only to see that it's actually Apollo Crews, of all people. And then the third attacker takes off his mask. It's Heath Slater.
Okay.
Crews and Slater, another 2 men who were horrendously underutilized by WWE. So EC3 appears in the right. what do you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know if I should mention this now or. Well, first of all, the Heath Slater, it took me by surprise.
Right.
Apollo Crews, I agree, has been underused. But I'm like, all I'm going to say right now is, because I haven't heard the whole pitch, there's still more coming. I'm looking forward to it. However, I'm just going to say a little bit, like, what was the name of Heath Slater's group? 4-man band or whatever the fuck?
3-man band, how dare you?
3-man band? I'm like,
Scotland's own Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. So, like, let's just be careful about this. Don't want to make those 2 stables like similar in stat wise.
I get what you mean, but since then Heath Slater was also my tag team champion with Rhino, so he's got some prestige. But it's a very similar situation to EC3 at the time, or currently. Heath Slater is tweeting and he's making sly comments on when he's on main event or when he's on like all these watch-alongs you get in the WWE network, saying that he should be getting an opportunity and he isn't. He's getting overlooked, kind of thing. So it's a very similar situation to EC3, like, because Heath Slater is a great wrestler. He's great. He's talented. He can put together a good match, and the fans can genuinely get behind him. But again, he's just not being used very well. He's been a jobber basically. But anyway, EC3 appears on the ramp and applauds what's been done. So he smiles, he laughs, he points and winks at Bobby Roode, who is holding AJ Styles by the hair, forcing him to look at EC3. The newly formed 1%er faction closes off Raw, standing tall over the broken boys of the club. What happens next? So the 29th of July, Raw, the 1%ers open the show. Apollo Crews and Heath Slater have the microphone and they cut a promo together. They applaud EC3 for getting noticed and realise that they had to do the exact same thing. They too were underutilized by WWE for many years and knew that they had a lot more in the tank left to offer. They thank EC3 for taking a stand and swear their loyalty to him. EC3 is now the leader of a top heel faction in wrestling, just over a month after losing the 24/7 title within 30 seconds. This shit isn't hard. On top of that,
I mean, I don't want to. I think calling them a top faction at the moment is a bit of a stretch. And again, there's more to the pitch. I know it, but like what is this, like a month after they've started?
This is a month, but tell me any other heel faction in WWE at that time.
Well, I don't know.
Well, there you go. So because of the only heel faction, they had to be the top heel faction.
I have to concede that you've got me there, my friend.
So on top of that, you've got something for Bobby Roode, Apollo Crews, and Heath Slater to do. So then, of all people, Billy Gunn interrupts. He noticed that EC3 called him out a few weeks ago when he was mentioning superstars who were given plenty of opportunities with no apparent talent. So we get a novelty match later in the show, EC3 versus Billy Gunn. Again, this draws attention to EC3. People are interested in seeing Billy Gunn wrestle because it's been such a long time, and this match, to my knowledge, has never happened. Of course, EC3 wins clean. He pins Gunn in like 5-10 minutes or something. But again, the spotlight's on EC3, and this is my kind of thinking behind it being a top heel faction, because for the last 4 weeks, the attention's been on EC3 constantly. You know, the cameras have been on him. He's been cutting all these promos against WWE. He's taking WWE to court and blackmailing him and all this shit. So he's basically a top heel right now. He's not had massive victories, but he beat Ricochet, who's US champion, and now he's attacking AJ Styles, who's another big star. So they're on their way to becoming a big faction anyway. So
exactly, like I would say that they're on their way for sure.
So when the match is over, AJ Styles comes out and challenges EC3 to a match at SummerSlam. Here's your one shot, your 15 seconds of fame. You got to sink or swim, boy, just like the rest of us. And I know you've been doing a whole lot of sinking since getting here. So EC3 accepts the match, and damn right he does. He's getting a featured match on what is probably the third biggest WWE show of the year, to compete in a big match in front of 17,000 fans. So the match is booked. Raw 5th of August. This week we're going to have EC3 go for the big dogs. So just to fuck with him, bear in mind EC3 can't be fired, EC3 heads to the gorilla position, the part of the arena where they basically direct the show, and he cuts a promo on Vince McMahon himself. He mocks McMahon about how EC3 basically has him by the balls. McMahon sits there, stone-faced, not taking his eyes from EC3. You can feel the rage bubbling up inside him as EC3's promo goes on and on and on about how Vince McMahon overlooked him and how he could have been the next John Cena and how Vince would have made a lot of money from him and all of this shit. But he blew it all because of his giant ego and his distrust of anything that he didn't create himself. So Vince McMahon retorts, if you don't defeat AJ Styles at SummerSlam, I'm going to do everything I can to make the last year and a half of your employment miserable. Now get the hell out of my face. Eventually Triple H appears with other officials, kind of backstage officials, the Jamie Nobles, the Devon Dudleys, that kind of thing. And EC3 leaves with a big smirk on his face. On the show, you've also got Heath Slater and Apollo Crews versus Gallows and Anderson. Slater and Crews win, get some credibility, all of that jazz. So SummerSlam rolls around, August 11, 2019. So you've got SummerSlam, and this one is easy. It's a big event. It's a big match with plenty of hype. EC3 versus AJ Styles. You can't really go wrong here. EC3, he has to win basically, because if he doesn't, Vince will make his life hell. So yeah, let him win. You don't have to make this one a clean victory. Say, for example, Drake Maverick of all people comes out to aid EC3 in victory. Say that the club and the 1%ers are brawling on the outside, and Drake Maverick slides in and hits AJ Styles with a chair or something. I don't know. It helps EC3 get his victory because they're best friends and all that. So yeah, you can do whatever you want at this stage. Basically, you've got EC3 versus AJ Styles. You've got the match. EC3 wins it. He's a star, and within 2 months, how difficult is that? So after SummerSlam, you've got EC3 established as a heel, arguably a top heel, and he can go basically anywhere after that. So you could continue the AJ Styles story if you want. You could continue to play up the story that EC3 has WWE by the balls. Maybe have him feud with Vince McMahon. Perhaps another TNA star has something to say about EC3, Samoa Joe, or even Sting comes back for a while, or Kurt Angle, whoever. But give him a championship run, make him prestigious, make him dangerous. he's leading a faction of 1%ers. He can do pretty much anything he wants. So yeah, so that's basically what I've got for EC3. So that's how you make EC3 a star in less than 2 months. And it's not rocket science. You just got to give the guy some airtime and give him a chance to actually cut promos and be that smirky heel, that snarky heel, and just let him be himself, basically. Let him be that top 1%er. But yeah, that's how I make kayfabe with EC3.
I like it. Like, you're right. Like, the trick is, like, people can't get over if they're not on TV.
Sure.
And, this is a thing I say a lot whenever I'm talking about this kind of thing, is like, it doesn't matter how you're on TV or what you're doing or how long you're on there for. But so long as you're on TV, you'll be okay, because you'll get a chance to get yourself over. If you're not on, yeah, exactly. If you're not on TV, then you don't even get that chance. Like that, JR used to say, you want to go out and maximize your minutes, and he's right. It doesn't matter how many minutes you get, you've got to make them the best minutes of the show. Yeah. And EC3 is the kind of guy who can talk you into a match. He's the kind of guy that can really like rile up a crowd. Yeah, it makes sense to play up his strengths like that. So I'm digging that. I also quite liked. I tell you, the bit I liked the most, I think, was near the end where you're talking about how he's like messing with Vince McMahon backstage because he can do whatever he wants because he can't get fired. Yeah, I'm like, now that's an angle. Yeah, just him being a real smarmy heel and just doing whatever he wants backstage, because nobody, like, I would have him like interrupt other matches. Yeah, just have him come out and just do his own commentary with a live mic, or just sit by ringside or whatever and just be like disruptive. Like I would imagine a kind of like you always hear about these rich socialites who just kind of bum around, don't do anything all day, and just like the kind of guys who would just walk into a restaurant and make a scene and then be like, don't you know who I am? Like he'd be that kind of guy, and he could play that angle and it would get him total heat. Yeah. And you could you're right, there are a lot of ways to go about it. A lot of angles. Exactly.
Even if he goes down the feud with Vince McMahon, you can even have the whole thing that you can't fire EC3, but you can fire Heath Slater, and you can fire Bobby Roode and all these things. So
right, exactly. Like that's a great angle. That's something you totally could like play up. Is that once you have the stable being dominant for like a month or two, and then EC3 is really smug with himself, then have Vince McMahon come out and go, you're right, EC3, I can't fire you. And then he like points at Bobby Roode, and then you can, like, the whole crowd's like, oh, we know what's coming next,
Not Bobby.
Not the best one.
Not Bobby.
And then Vince is like, you're all fired. Get out of my ring. And then EC3 is like, shit, what do I do now?
Braden Walker's available.
What time is it?
You know what time it is? But even that, we, in the space of 2 minutes there, we've come up with at least another 2 or 3 months of storylines for EC3 based on this storyline. So it's like, it's not fucking hard. It really isn't. But I mean, that's just
casual chat, and we were able to book other stuff, and it was all because you had given us like the base storyline to work with.
Yeah.
So like exactly. if they have that thing in mind, if they already have that thing that they can establish, once that's there, there's loads of stuff to do, because he has an angle and a character and direction and stuff like that. It's it's right there.
And still, like, EC3, he's only 36 right now. He's got plenty of time to reach the main event spot. This can still happen. They can still make a star out of him. It's not like it's been and gone. They can still do this at any time.
Yeah.
I mean, at 36, he's younger than Samoa Joe. He's younger than Finn Balor. He's younger than Sheamus, Miz, Cesaro, all these guys. And if WWE gave him anything along the lines of a decent story and let him play that heel persona he's so good at, then it's guaranteed money. He showed what he could do in TNA.
Right.
You watch him in TNA, it's great. He's an established main event star. He's got legitimacy, he's got prestige, he's got all these things. There's no doubts in my mind that he can do the same in WWE if they give him a chance. And yeah, stranger things have happened.
That's the thing, man. They just gotta give him a chance. But like, I think the thing about wrestling is like everybody kind of gets their turn. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everybody gets a shot. Like, like you were saying with Heath Slater, like we remember Heath Slater whenever Nobody knew who he was. And then we remember Heath Slater, who was like wrestling all those legends, which was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Then we remember Heath Slater in One Man Band or whatever the fuck. But we also remember him being tag team champion. So like the guy, again, like, you know, for the most part, he's been on TV a lot in his career. Like
Nexus.
Exactly. Like, you know, he has been the focus of TV sometimes. So like, you know, everybody gets their shot, and he's definitely had a good go of it. Like, I don't think he would be too bummed about his career, because I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah, but it's still, he's not been used in like a year now, and he's just sitting about and he's not doing anything. That's enough of a thing to say. Like, why am I not being used? I'm Heath Slater. I'm basically, you know, a legend at this point. I've been in the WWE for it's probably 12 years something now since
Long time,
Nexus.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, he's I don't know for exactly, but
that's the thing. Like, I think like with guys like that, like it always comes around again. It's like same as Zack Ryder. Like, there was a while where Zack Ryder was nothing. Then he was actually fun and entertaining. Then he got himself over. Then he was nothing. But like, you know, then he came back again.
Yeah,
you know, like, and you know that
WrestleMania
and the tag team championship this year and stuff. So you know that like, while Zack Ryder is kind of off TV right now, or like not being focused too much, at some point, you know, he'll be back and we'll see him again.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like at some point they are gonna figure out something to do with EC3, and I just hope it's not too late. You know what I mean?
Do you know what they'll probably do? They'll probably wait until the last 6 months of his contract, like they did with the Revival. Because remember how the Revival were doing the whole thing of, you know, we're gonna go to AEW and wrestle the Young Bucks and all of this shit, and then the WWE are like, no, here's the tag team titles. You know, we love you guys. You're great. You know, stay with us, please. So they'll probably do the same with EC3, because I can see EC3 becoming a big deal in AEW if they hire him. You know, I can see him become a big star, even if he goes back to TNA, who now have got a big TV deal. Impact Wrestling have got a big TV deal right now, and you know, he would be an asset in any company, and he's been wasted in WWE at the moment. You know, it's a damn shame. But hey, how about we move forward to Kayfabe Tombola?
It's a great segue.
Oh yeah, here we go. So
You're the masters of segues.
I'm a segue meister. So Kayfabe Tombola. If you've listened to episodes 1 to 4, you'll know the rules, but I'll go through them again. So in front of me, I've got myself 4 characters from professional wrestling numbered 1 to 4, and 4 situations lettered A to D. In just a moment, Dylan will be choosing a number letter combination, so like 1D or 3B or 2C. And he'll have 60 seconds to spin a great storyline with his chosen situation. So, Dylan, do you want to hear what's on tap today?
Yeah.
All right. So, in no particular order, for the characters, we've got Bubba Ray Dudley.
Okay.
Devon Dudley.
Okay. Spike Dudley?
Dudley.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
and
Bubba, it's big. Is it Big Dick Dudley?
Viscera Dudley.
Dang it. Sign Guy Dudley?
How did you not guess that?
Dudley. He's kind of like Big Dick Dudley.
Yeah, I don't know. I just named the 4 most famous Dudleys.
Okay. I think Sign Guy Dudley is definitely more famous
than Viscera Dudley.
Yeah. I mean, that's open for debate, I think. Guys, listen to the show. Remember, leave in the comments who your favorite member of the Dudley Boys was.
And why it's Viscera.
Yeah.
Your situations are is revealed as the newest member of D-Generation X.
I would love it if you'd said was revealed as the new member of the Dudley Boys. Like, I wonder which one it could be.
Your second one is revealed as the 5th Horseman. You've got is revealed as the 3rd Brother of Destruction. And you've got is revealed as the estranged cousin of Hardcore, Crash, and Molly.
Oh man.
Dylan, it's your choice, my friend.
Oh my god, Viscera would be so good with all of those. Oh, this is why you picked those.
Yeah.
Alright. Or wait, is this a swerve? Like, if I pick one, are you just gonna say I picked Viscera?
I wish.
Like, they're all Viscera.
I'm a man of my word. I've got the numbers and letters in front of me. Whatever you choose, it's going to be that.
All right, I'm going to go to 2C.
Uzi.
Yeah.
Devon Dudley is revealed as the third brother of Destruction.
Oh shit.
All right, I'm going to get a timer on the go in just a second here. Let me get this sorted. Are you ready to go, my friend?
I guess.
Right, 3, 2, 1. You've got Devon Dudley as the third brother of Destruction. Go.
All right, so the Brothers of Destruction were Kane and the Undertaker, and I'm Kane, and Undertaker had like a motorbike, and they were badasses. And years ago, one of the brothers burnt down their old family house and killed all their family or whatever. Undertaker burnt down the house, and Kane was in it, and he got his face burnt. And that's why he wears a mask. But then one time Paul Bearer comes out and goes, there was actually a third brother. And the two brothers are like, what the fuck? Fuck you, Paul Bearer. And they pick him up and they throw him into the sun. But then it turns out somebody on the roster really legitimately is their third brother. So they have DNA tests done. And then Vince McMahon comes out and goes, I got the test results right here. And he reads it out. And he looks right into Undertaker's face. And he goes, your brother is Devon Dudley. And the whole crowd's like, what? And then Devon Dudley comes out to the ring, but he's got a quad bike, and he's like, I'm also in the yard. We're all three brothers. And then they do a little salute and drink beer to the crowd.
Done. Marvelous. Marvelous.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I like Devon Dudley on a quad bike. That's a really interesting development.
I was gonna like say a tricycle, but then I'm like, no, the Brothers of Destruction are pretty hardcore.
Tricycle.
Yeah, so he needs to have something, cool. So I guess a quad bike.
Wasn't there somebody who came out in a tricycle?
The BWO used to.
Was it BWO? I'm thinking late.
Oh no! It was the Mexico. No, it was the BWO because there was
because Mexico came out in lawnmowers.
Right, but there was a match between the Mexicools and the BWO. Mexicools came out in the lawnmowers, then the BWO came out in tricycles, and it's brilliant. Because I think it's Stevie Richards, like on the way down, like his tricycle spins like 180, so his back is towards the ring, and he has no idea where he's going. It's perfect.
Was it not? Did Hunico not come out in a tricycle?
Hunico might have had. Was it a bicycle or a tricycle?
Okay, remember it was the other guy. The other guy was riding it, actually on the kind of pedaling it, and then Hunico was on top of it at the back, just being a big kind of heel.
Yeah.
Camacho, that was his name.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was tricycle, but look into it. Leave in the comments. But
yeah, tell us. Give us a rundown of every time a tricycle has been used on wrestling television, please.
Spot on. Then we'll make a story out of it. All right. Let's get our plugs in, mate. That's been a great episode. So we are at Making Kayfabe on Twitter. Tweet us. Tell us if you enjoyed the show. Tell us if you didn't enjoy the show. Maybe there's something you changed from the story I told. If it's good enough, I'll read it out in next week's show. Happy to do that.
Reply and give us your takes on the storylines as well.
Exactly.
We'd love to hear other people chipping in with how they would play the EC3 story. That would be pretty cool.
Exactly, because there's so many more things you can do with them. That's just one idea. Guarantee that there's people out there who've got millions of ideas what they can do with any character in wrestling. So this is our opinions basically, but there's gonna be plenty out there. So maybe we can do a whole thing where if we get feedback, we can say it in the next show, and then this is what could have happened, and then
we should do like an episode where we get other people's kind of storylines for what they would do, and we kind of run through them and read them out and stuff like that. Yeah,
make like a mini series about it, mini episode about it. But yeah, totally. So on that note, if your feedback extends further than Twitter's character limit, drop us a line at makingkayfabe@gmail.com. Tell us who you want to see I'm making kayfabe of, and maybe we might just do it. So yeah, I'd like to do some submissions in future. That could be pretty cool. But until next week, I've been Bryce, he's been Dylan, and keep it kayfabe, my friends.
Woo!